Hey, can you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
Okay. For some reason, my camera is not working, so I'll have to do this.
Okay.
Thanks for coming on. I know that it's been a hectic week for you with traveling and everything, with keeping up with the games and stuff. So, thank you for coming on.
No, thank you for having me. Appreciate you having me on, thinking of me. Happy to be back, Alex. It's March. What's better than this? What's better than this?
Yeah,
We're back.
yeah. So, welcome to episode number 100 of Hooper Talk Fanatics. I'm here with Jake Copestick from Big Five Pod, recapping a busy conference tournament week, and we will uh, dive deeply into our brackets and talk about it. And welcome to another episode.
No, thank you for having me. Congrats on you. 100. Big deal. Good stuff, Alex. Month of March, too. Great time to hit it.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, um, let's start with 1 second. Let's start with the ACC tournament final. Duke beat Virginia 74-70. What were your takeaways on this one?
Yeah, well, big game from Isaiah Evans and a really, really good game from Caden Boozer as well, who had 16 points. With the injury to Caleb Foster, and even though the injury to Pat Gungba doesn't affect the point guard spot like the Foster injury does, this was a really big game for Caden Boozer to kind of grow up here in a big, big spot in the ACC title game. Virginia, who Duke blew out recently and routed by 20 or 30 points at home. You knew it was going to be close in a neutral site winner take all game with with two injuries to Duke. You knew it was going to be closer. And even though they were shorthanded, you still almost got a triple double from Cameron Boozer, who didn't have a great shooting night. But man, Caden Boozer, when his best was required at the point guard spot, he delivered, and a great game from Isaiah Evans as well, who had to carry that load again. Alex being shorthanded.
Yeah. Let's let's talk about Uganda Yenzo. He had a heck of a night. Despite the loss, he tallied 9 rebounds. He's had 21 rebounds over 3 games, and he passed Tim Duncan's record um, with that achievement. So, what are your thoughts on his spectacular performance defensively that game, and what's to come for him in the big dance?
Yeah, they really are going to need him. They have another real good big man in Tyster Ritter, the big guy inside the international. But if he can play the way he does, give him another body inside. I mean, he even knocked down a couple threes when they had played Virginia Tech earlier this year. They have the guards, Chance Mallory, Malik Thomas, Sam Lewis. They really have the dudes on the perimeter, I think, to compete with anybody. I think there's certainly a dangerous number 3 seed that can make a run. And even if this isn't the year where they do win, I think Ryan Odom's really got a chance at winning a championship here. Super, super impressed with him. He's got the guards, the offense, the passing to do it. But man, if you can throw Ugana and Yenso on top of that, on top of Tyster Ritter, on top of all the perimeter scores and the guards that they have, this is a really, really dangerous 3 seed that I am going to see in Philadelphia this weekend as they play Wright State.
Yeah, speaking of the Philadelphia region, I will be in attendance on Sunday with my dad.
Awesome. Good for you. Should be there's a couple good crash course games there. UCLA and Connecticut, Virginia playing
Mhm.
that second round game here. Like you're it's that's I think we're in store for a lot of really, really, really good stuff here. Miami, Ohio potentially could be
Hmm.
there if they can win today or tomorrow and then beat Tennessee. So I think I wish we had a Penn or Villanova there, Alex. But you're
Yeah.
gonna get your money's worth Sunday.
Are you and Aaron planning on doing the spaces before the games?
We'll have to see, because I gotta figure out what Big Pot is doing before the bracket show. If we're gonna do something tomorrow or if we're gonna do something on Wednesday. So I gotta figure out what our plan is. My mind's going a million miles an hour. I might try to bang out another story, do a St. Joe's wrap here. I got home late this morning, stayed up even earlier because I was so jacked up on caffeine to even just make it home and make it across our great state here, Alex. But yeah, well, we'll have to keep you updated on that, man. I don't even know what I'm doing yet. I gotta get bracket pools organized. It's a great time of year, man, but it's like a fire drill. Turn around from Sunday. We got one
Yeah.
day off and we do this thing.
Speaking of the sleep, the past couple of days I've been going to bed past 1:30 in the morning and waking up before 9 a.m.
Yeah, hey, that's March for you, man. Sleep in May, sleep in
Yeah.
the summer, sleep in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
So
Cal Baptist games, you stay up for that?
yeah, I did. Yeah, definitely.
Makes it worth it.
I also stayed up for the San Diego State game.
So did I. So I was upset they couldn't pull out the championship. We'll get into Mountain West a little bit
Yeah.
because that pertains to a Big Five team. But yeah, sleep in May, Alex. Coffee,
Yeah.
Red Bull. Figure out a way to stay up this month.
So let's move on to the Big Ten tournament semifinal between Michigan and Wisconsin. Michigan won by 3 points. What were your takeaways on this one with how Michigan uh, had a solid performance?
Yeah, they needed it. This was a team that ended their undefeated streak and came in Wisconsin and came into Michigan's house to end that. And this is a Wisconsin team that really makes shots, that shoot it well, very good offensively. But you have Michigan down in the first half, closed on a big run. They weren't shooting it all, well at all. They're able to pull out a game here in the 60s. Both teams absolutely capable of putting up more. And then, I mean, the shot making at the end was ridiculous. I mean, the pendulum was swinging back and forth. There was Elliot Cadeau and Nick Boyd, and then good play for Yaxel to get that ball. He had a really, really wide open, really good look at a three. He stuck it. And that's another feather in the cap of Michigan because earlier in the season, and they're just pulverizing people, beating them by 30 or 40. They played a really good Wisconsin team who can get hot and win a couple games and make the second weekend in this tournament, and they had to claw back and win a game in the 60s, and they did it. That's big time as we head to the real postseason coming up here. You can win games multiple ways, and you can gut a game out in the 60s, but you could also blow somebody out and put 100 on them. That's big time. There's probably going to be multiple times here. Like you need to be able to win games in different ways, and really on the biggest stage against a good team that there's some bad blood with here. Michigan stepped up to the challenge. I mean, the play by Cadeau to nail that three, and then for Yaxel, just to step into that one and hit it late. That's really, really big time stuff by a team that couple bounces here and there, close game at Duke, maybe the game at Wisconsin earlier this year. Like, maybe they lose this one. Easily a team that could have been the top overall
Mhm.
seed if not for some hiccups, but the resilience they had was great. So much good shot making back and forth in this game.
What were your thoughts on Wisconsin's performance with Rapp and Johnny Blackbelt and Boyd having a solid game?
Yeah, I mean these guys are humming. Like they really don't turn the ball over. They're going to shoot a ton of threes. They have plenty of guys that are very good at shooting it. Braden Carrington as well, and Rapp with the good game, and Blackwell almost made 100 threes, prior to the tournament this year. So they can spread you out. Boyd was an excellent add-on here as they lose John Tunji when he coming over from San Diego State, but he's a very creative lefty shot maker, and as John Tonje steps out here and he gets drafted by the Jazz last year, they still had John Blackwell, who was one of the best shooters in the conference last year. They kept him, and now he's one of not just one of the best shooters, shot makers, but one of the best players in the Big Ten. What a great offense they have, and spreading you out. Their wings are always very good. They always have guys that can emerge and shoot. Like it's a friendly system for them to be able to do their thing. So they got good players and a really good style on a team where they can spread you out, and they can make a lot of shots. They can make a lot of shots, and not only can they make a lot of shots, but they're going to put them up hard. There's not many teams that put up as many threes as Wisconsin does, which is a scary thought when you think about how good some of those guys on their team that they have are good at shooting the deep ball.
I'm just taking a look at the team stats between Wisconsin and Michigan, and the 3-point percentage, 16 of 38 for Wisconsin and 8 for 25 for Michigan. That's really surprising. The way, besides the way that this game, the outcome was. What are your thoughts on how Michigan 3-point performance that game is going to be an impact for the tournament one for them?
Yeah, I mean that's another tough one for Wisconsin when you see that you make that many. When you make 16 and you shoot over 42% and you have an outlier, so to speak, night where you shoot it that good and you actually get up even close to 50% a little bit. That's another kind of hat tip there to just how good Michigan had to be in clawing that one out. This is a team that always has turnover issues, that in Michigan's case, they lose the turnover battle as well, commit 14. Wisconsin only commits 11. I mean, I know that was a long time ago in November watching Michigan, but I remember they went to TCU, turned it over 22 times, and they still found a way to win that one. So when it's not going right, they've still found ways to do that. But another thing, too, is when you're so reliant on the three-point line, sure, you make 16 to 38. I mean, they made 7 twos. They only got to – there wasn't many free throws in this game either. It was back and forth, but, they make 3 free throws, 16 threes, and just 7 twos. They're going to get them up there, but really, really amazing if you're just a box score looker, I guess, just to see those raw numbers. It's kind of crazy to see that one.
Yeah. So let's keep it moving with the SEC tournament semifinal game. This one was a really surprising performance by Vanderbilt, absolutely dominating offensively, putting up 91 points over a soured Florida Gators team. Tyler Tanner scored 20 points, and the Gators just didn't have it in them in this game. What were your initial takeaways with how this performance was?
Yeah, I'm supremely impressed with Vanderbilt. Obviously, they started off 16-0, and they've lost 8 games since January 14th, and there's a home loss to Oklahoma in there, and there's a away loss to Mizzou, who I don't think is that good, and just kind of benefited from a really, really bad bubble this year to get in. There's some losses to some good teams. I mean, they lose the championship to Arkansas, who they lost to another time. Got really raced at Kentucky when they played up there, but just the fact that they have Duke Miles back is really, really big time for Vanderbilt, because you have an absolute blur out there. I mean, a water bug with how fast he is. in Tyler Tanner, and then you get a guy in Duke Miles who's been in school plenty and has a ton of experience, and not only is a great passer and another ball handler, floor general for this team, but you also have a guy who's one of the best defenders in college hoops and one of the best defenders in the SEC out there as well. And it was kind of been a mixed bag. He missed a little over a month. He got hurt, I think, in that Mississippi State game, and then he missed a month. I mean, he played January the 24th and then come back till February the 23rd. And again, maybe a bit of a mixed bag here, 3-2 to close the regular season, but when it mattered. I mean, how about the game that he had against Tennessee, going for 36 boards, 5 assists, and 3 steals, and then 15 points against Florida, 7 assists, 3 steals in that one. He racked up 4 steals, had 9 assists in the championship game that they lost. But for Duke Miles to come back is big time. But been just supremely impressed with Mark Byington's group all year. This is, people don't do that to Florida. People don't do that and blow that team out. I mean, this is a Florida team, Alex. Like, sure, did they take their lumps early? Yeah. But if you include Florida's win over Kentucky, they had won 11 in a row. They didn't lose in February. And they boat raced Alabama. Like, there's a couple, I mean, they were just blitzing teams. And as they started to come together and as the guards started to figure it out, all the big guys came back. You knew they were going to be great on the glass. They were going to be great at defending twos and scoring twos with the size that they had. But as the guards came together and started to figure out, that's the one question. Like, they were steamrolling teams. And then for Vanderbilt to come in there, who looked like they were a little bit up and down, maybe just say for the last month. I mean, super, super impressive. But you get 20 and 8 assists from Tyler Tanner, 15, 7 assists, and 3 steals from Duke Miles. That was a really good day at the office. I mean, 5 guys in double figures here. Everybody that came in there contributed. That was super, super impressive by Vandy here. And that I'm a fan of this Vandy team. I think they can make some noise here for sure. But Florida was doing that to teams. And then I think it was unsuspecting a bit for smaller Vandy to do that to them.
Do you think that this Vanderbilt team is for real, or did we just see one sour game from them, and it's not going to look like that game throughout the tournament for them?
Yeah, I think it'll be hard to kind of replicate a game like that against an elite team in Florida. But I thought this team was real all year. The guard duo is awesome that they have in Tyler Tanner and Duke Miles, who's really an unsung hero. And then they can fill the gaps in other spots. You have a shooter in Tyler Nickel. You have some athletes here on the wing who can show you some versatility and can do some different things. And in McLaughlin and A.K. Okereke. And then I thought Jalen Washington was, a great pickup for what Mark Byington wants to do. They need some top end size. He gives it to him. He can stretch the floor a little bit. I've always been a fan of this Vanderbilt team this year. Again, there's that injury to Miles, but when they're healthy and he's back and got tournament experience and excellent on both ends, does his best not to turn it over. Very good in that regard. And I mean, legitimately, Alex, like, this is a guy who's got one of the top steal rates nationally. And oh, by the way, Tyler Tanner is a total disruptor and a speed demon himself. So you have 2 terrific defensive guards who are fast, who have tournament experience as well. And I just think Mark Byington is a really, really good basketball coach for a guy that they were close against St. Mary's last year and blew that lead. They upset Wisconsin the year before. I've always thought this Vanderbilt team was good. Sure, was there a fall off? Yeah, maybe. But that was a big-time performance for them to beat Florida. I think they're absolutely for real.
I'm anxious to watch them go up against McNeese. I haven't really watched McNeese. What are your takeaways on this McNeese team, and do you think that they can give Vanderbilt trouble?
I don't believe that they can, just because I'm just really really impressed with this Vandy team. But this McNeese team is nothing to scoff at. I mean, don't forget, just last year, like this was a tournament that didn't have any maybe had two or three upsets, McNeese being one of them. And even though a lot of those
Mhm.
guys graduated or they left or they followed Will Wade or they went elsewhere, Bill Armstrong, I mean, what a great job he did with the Cowboys this year. Gets them back, and they are once again one of the perennial best teams in the Southland. Uh, just a smothering defense that's going to get after you. Um, Couple holdovers here. You have Javon Garcia stay for the Cowboys, who's been excellent for them this year. But I mean, just the makeup that these guys have. This is the best defensive turnover team in the country. This is the best steal percentage team in the country. On the other end, this is the second lowest steal percentage team offensively. They do a lot of really good stuff here, and they check a lot of boxes. Not exactly a big team going up against some SEC power here, but yeah, a lot to like about McNeese. They look different than they did last year, but some of the guys they brought in, Garway Dual has filled out nicely here. Tyson Archie transfers down from Tulsa. He's been excellent. I mean, there's some scores and a lot of excitement on this team, but I'm I'm really big on Vanderbilt here. Massive congratulations for Bill Armstrong getting McNeese here. 28-5 is pretty good. Winning 10 in a row going into the tournament, pretty good. I do like this Vanderbilt team, though, and I think there's a lot of other upsets I would look at before I look at McNeese.
I didn't get the chance to see, but does McNeese have any quad one wins?
I no. I mean, even the Stephen F win, it's like, that's like a 91 Ken Palm win. They tried to go to Michigan. They lost. They got boat race, but they were doing that to everybody. They lost at Santa Clara. No one's going to hold that against it with the team that the Broncos have had this year. But unless they quantify that Stephen F win, I mean, I think the home supposed to be a neutral court, but McNeese plays that game on their home court. I don't think they're going to necessarily count, a 91 Ken Palm opponent basically at home as a one.
Mm-hmm. I know that we wanted to get to the brackets or bracket reviews, but briefly talk about Purdue's phenomenal win against Michigan in the Big Ten championship game, and St. John's beating UConn in the Big East tournament final.
Yeah, I'll get with St. John's first. Oh boy, Alex, nobody wants to see this team. The size, the front line, the physicality, the disruptiveness, the versatility that they have on the defensive end, and just how big of lineups they can put out on the court all the time. I mean, they hop out to a double-digit lead right away, and in the second half, I mean, they really, really put it to UConn. And I see Zuby and Bryce go for 18 apiece. Bryce Hopkins go for 18 apiece. You have Osiah Sellers, who's going to be massive. He chips in 14. Dylan Darling has been so good for this team. They've lost twice since the new year. Dylan Darling is a big reason for that. Takes and makes big shots. Can get into the teeth of the defense. Can finish. Can pull up. He has been so massive for this team and has given them everything that they need. And they put it to UConn good. I think the St. John's team got underseeded the Big East regular season, and also the tournament champion, in my opinion, is better than a 5 seed. But what a supremely impressive performance by Zuby, he almost blocked 10 shots. Like, he almost blocked 10 shots against a top 10 team in UConn, on a massive stage. They are playing as well as anybody. They have a player in Zuby who's got to play with some urgency because this is his last year. he's playing as well as anybody in the country. They're not just bigs. He's playing as well as anybody in the country. I mean, this St. John's team does nobody should want to see them. And then briefly on the Purdue win here, they very uncharacteristically were losing home games and stuff like that. They lost 3 in a row. They go on to lose 4 of their last 6 before the Big Ten tournament, and sure as hell they knock off Nebraska, UCLA, and then of course Michigan, who they played a very, very good game against. Their bigs came out to play, 41 points combined from Oscar Clough and Trey Kaufman-Renn, and then for a guy in Braden Smith who could break the all-time assist record, 14 and 11 for him. Regardless of what happened the end of the season, you have that guy. They're a 2 seed. You have Braden Smith. You have plenty of tournament experience. Purdue checks a lot of boxes, and there's a lot of requisites here. I think they're still very, very much a dangerous team. And even with the losing streak to end the regular season, you saw just why that is the case. That's still a very good team with one of the best coaches around in Matt Painter, with a 4-year floor general who's one of the best 4 years we've seen in quite some time. They're a real team. That 2 seed was deserved. They went on an excellent run at the Big Ten championship.
What are the chances for the Boilermakers to make it all the way to Indianapolis for you?
Yeah, well, I like the size that they have, and I see a potential crash course with Gonzaga here. I think the question is, well, is Braden Huff gonna actually end up playing for Gonzaga as he works back from an injury? But they have the bodies to be able to throw at them. They do. And then it could come down to a crash course here, potentially with Arizona, if that's the case. And I adore Arizona. I think they're excellent and are absolutely very much capable of winning the whole thing and cutting the nets down. But it could just come down to this, Alex. It's like D1 experience, minutes. They're kind of middle of the pack. Minutes continuity, sure, they're a top 100 team, but I mean, this is a Purdue team that not only has a ton of experience with Fletcher Lawyer and Braden Smith being guys that have literally stuck it out of Purdue for legitimately their entire careers, but best offense in the country. They shoot well. They don't turn it over. And this is a team that brought the 6th most minutes back from a year ago. Top 20 in roster experience. I think that they have a very good chance to potentially get there, potentially beat Arizona. I think Arkansas could maybe give them a problem with the athletes that they have, but I like their chances here. It's now or never for Braden Smith and this group of seniors here, for Trey Kaufman-Renn, for Fletcher Lawyer, for Clough, even though he just transferred in. You're talking about seeing a totally different Purdue team next year, regardless of what happens. But they have the seniors here that are going to be able to bring them home. And I feel a lot better than I do having watched the Big Ten tournament this week than I did 2 weeks ago as they finished up the regular season.
So now it's the fun time. So I'm not sure if this is your finalized bracket or unofficial bracket that you will be revealing.
I like to fill out a couple. So I have one that's maybe 2 or 3 at this point that I have in front of me here. I fill out a couple though. And it's I second guess myself all the time, and I'm very uncertain when it comes to this stuff because I'll fill out one and I don't like it and I change it. So, there's maybe 2 or 3 different iterations. I promise you I don't fill it out as the thing goes on. But I also just like filling them out. I like this is quite the rush to be sitting here in front of a bracket right now. So I might make 2 or 3, do a couple more online. How about yourself? How many for you?
I was wondering if we could go region by region and announce our picks.
Yeah, let's do it. Do you want to start us off?
Okay. Sure. So for the East region, I have Duke over Siena, uh, Ohio State beating TCU, St. John's beating Northern Iowa, Kansas beating Cal Baptist, Louisville beating South Florida, Michigan State beating North Dakota State, UCLA beating Central Florida, and UConn over Foreman.
All right. We're close here. My upset is South Florida, who can go man for man with they have power conference size and athleticism. Isaiah Nelson is a power conference player playing in the American Athletic Conference. South Florida is my upset. You might not get Mikal Brown Jr. back for Louisville. I think the expectation is that he will be, but he's been banged up, and there's been some turnover issues there that this South Florida team will be able to jump on if that's the case. What a great team Brian Hodgson's assembled here, bringing some guys over from Arkansas State, bringing some other guys in that have that power conference experience. I'm all for this team. He's not a rising star in the coaching business, Alex. He is a star. He is a star as far as I'm concerned. Really, really big fan of this team. Get after you defensively, defend the paint really well. They're going to really crash the offensive glass. The size, the athleticism they have is really, really impressive. Really, really impressive. And they're going to play at a fast, frenetic pace that if you know anything about Brian Hodgson, coming from the Nate Oates tree, they're going to play fast. And they're going to play a team in Louisville that they play fast too. And they're going to want to get up and down. And they got some shooters who can stretch the floor and can really fill it up with Ryan Conwell, Isaac McNeely, and Adrian Woolley. This is going to be a really, really exciting matchup. But the pace and the speed and the athleticism and the size that you're going to need for a matchup like this, it's going to be a track meet. South Florida has all the requisites to be able to match. And defensively, I like on both sides, offensively, they're not going to turn over. They're going to hit the glass. Not a great defensive rebounding team, but it's a team that's going to turn you over. And it's a team that's really going to defend the paint. And if this Louisville team is not going to be making threes and they're going to be turning the ball over, that is going to be an issue for them. It's really, really going to be an issue for them against the South Florida team that's going to continue to keep going and getting to the rim and putting pressure on you. South Florida is my upset pick. I'm going to say TCU for now. This is the hardest game for me. I'm absolutely wrestling with this back and forth and have been since about 6 o'clock last night when they announced it. Really like TCU. Really like the size they have down low. I think they have a really nice guard trio here with Brock Harding and Jaden Pierre that has really been a nice surprise. I mean, really, really been a nice surprise. To be able to, if you're them, to be able to come in from two different programs, from Providence, where it wasn't good, and from Iowa, where Brock Harding comes from, where Fran McCaffrey, gets fired and he needs to play. Plays needs to go somewhere. Needs to go somewhere. He transfers to TCU and they've made it work. They've strung together some really good wins. I've been impressed with them, but at the same time, we've been clamoring to get Ohio State in the tournament so we can see the all-time leading scorer in the history of the Buckeyes, Bruce Thornton, make the tournament. And I just don't think that after Ohio State, who has been surging and who's been playing very well, and really since the start of February, playing really just as well as anyone. I don't know. I'm gonna say TCU for now. I'm probably gonna flip to Ohio State. This is one you'll lose sleep over. I think there's 1 or 2 games every year, like an 8-9 game or something close. This is that one for me. I have TCU for now. I might end up switching.
So we will get back to the East region for round of 32 in a couple minutes. Let's head to the West region. I have Arizona beating Long Island, Villanova beating Utah State, High Point upsetting Wisconsin, Arkansas beating Hawaii, BYU beating Texas or NC State, Gonzaga beating Kennesaw State, Miami beating Missouri, and Purdue beating Queens.
Okay. Pretty much the same. I have Arizona, I have Utah State, I have Wisconsin, Arkansas, BYU. This is a chalky one for me. I guess the only real upset I have. Maybe the one reason I don't have an upset in, but I'll take Utah State as the lower seed against Villanova, who's actually favored in the game. I think if you flipped Utah State, Villanova being an 8, Villanova 8, Utah State 9, and you flip that, I think that'd still be accurate. I think a Utah State team that's got 28 wins, won the Mountain West regular season and a conference tournament, probably better than an 8 seed to me. Probably better than an 8 seed to me. So I got pretty much the same thing. But, even though I'm excited Villanova's there and they're a Big 5 team, this Utah State team is no joke. They're absolutely live in this game. And they started out as favorites, and I think that's correct.
What are your thoughts on my upset pick in High Point?
Yeah, what a great year they've had. Coaching change here as Alan Haas kind of late in the process decides to go be the head coach in waiting at Creighton. That really, he could take over as early as next year. Super impressive unit. Terrific on both ends as far as not turn the ball over. They're going to take good care of it. They're going to play fast, and my God, they're going to force steals out of you. As good as there is on both sides of the ball as anybody, 30-4 is no joke. People celebrate winning 20. It's even that all the more impressive when you win 30. So good for them. They've had one trip up in Big South play where they went down to Winthrop and didn't have it. Took care of everybody else. 14 in a row. 14 in a row. 2 blowouts, really, in the Big South. Lots to like about this team. Cameron Fletcher was dismissed. He came back. They have some guys who are coming in from power levels. Chase Johnston, one of the best 3-point shooters in the entire country. This dude is my age, and I've been out of college for 3 years. So they have some experience here. Flynn Clayman's done an excellent job in his first year there. Offensively, they're humming. They'll get it inside. They'll get to the free throw line and pound you down there. I just don't see against a team that's going to make a lot of shots in Wisconsin and that's not going to turn the ball over and has the size and the experience and the athleticism that they do. It could happen. It could happen. If we picked all chalk, Alex, and I haven't ever picked a perfect bracket, so I'm not here to tell you you're wrong. But offensively, I just see that Wisconsin could get their way a little bit. They'll make shots, and even though High Point is so good at turning it over, and Wisconsin doesn't turn you over defensively, that's great that High Point forces them. Wisconsin doesn't give them up, and they're one of the best teams in the country in doing that. And I'll take Nick Boyd, who's going to be going to the NCAA tournament for his 3rd different program, one of which at FAU he went to the Final Four. That's a guy who's I trust the ball in his hands no matter who I'm playing.
Before we move on to the South region, I just wanted to say that this bracket that I have picked is unofficial, and there will be a lot of moving pieces in the next 24 hours. So I'm just going to have to think about it in my sleep and just think about it all day tomorrow, and I'll come up with my final bracket, and I'll definitely let you know via text message of what my final four is.
That's okay. I'm probably going to do it, so I'll fill a couple out. I'll lose sleep over it. Not a pencil guy, though. I'm a pen guy, so quite a few copies get made over here.
Yeah. So for the South region, I'm picking Florida to beat Lehigh against Prairie View. I have Iowa upsetting Clemson, McNeese upsetting Vanderbilt, Troy upsetting Nebraska, VCU upsetting North Carolina, Illinois beating Penn, Texas A&M upsetting St. Mary's, Houston beating Idaho.
I'm with you on a couple of these. I love VCU. I got to see them play in Pittsburgh. The size, the defense they played in the first half against Dayton was mighty impressive, and they have size, and they have size on the bench too. They have Lazar Djokovic at 6'10", can stretch the floor, excellent scorer inside, who can not only get to the free throw line and go at Henry Visar, but the size they have off the bench. Tyrell Ward was a good player at LSU. Michael Bell can play almost any position, super glue guy that VCU needs. I love the guards that they have. Brandon Jennings is a defensive monster. And Terrence Hill Jr. is as good a six man and a spark plug as there is in this entire country, not turning it over and making tough shots when this team needs it. Not to mention there's tournament experience. You have Michael Bell, who was on a team last year. Terrence Hill was, even though he didn't play as much. Brandon Jennings was on that team last year. Lazar Djokovic maybe doesn't have it, but he'll get it a year, and I'm confident that he's going to rise to the occasion as a really good player, as a really good A10 player. Barry Evans has plenty of it, who just played at Bryant last year with Phil Martelli Jr. I'm a really, really big fan of this VCU team. I think it's going to end up being a popular upset against the Caleb Wilson-less Tar Heels, but it's a good offensive unit, pretty good defensive one as well, and they're going to get to the rim, and if they can get the big fella in foul trouble here, that could really, really spell trouble for UNC. Kind of a toss-up game. But I'm going to take VCU here. They're going to throw a lot of bodies at you. Got some size, some athleticism, some real versatility in the defensive end. A lot of really good bench players still. Super impressed with the job Phil Martelli Jr. did this year. Excellent, excellent job. I'm going to take them to upset North Carolina. I'll take Iowa, and I guess a mini upset being the 8-9 game. And then St. Mary's A&M is interesting because I've seen this a handful of times from St. Mary's. Obviously, they're going to play at a snail's pace and try to win a game in the 60s and play long offensive possessions and force you to make decisions and force you to have to endure an entire possession and defend a lot of cuts and defend a lot of actions against an absolutely masterful tactician in Randy Bennett. Last year, a team that played that slow in St. Mary's had to play against Alabama, and they had to play against the power conference athleticism. And it didn't quite work out for them when they could not make a shot. I mean, they missed so many bunnies inside against that Alabama team that wanted to run on them and wanted to push the pace. I've seen it happen a couple times. And although this A&M team, maybe they're not giant and maybe they're not as big as that Alabama team was last year, I just the style they play, they're old. They're going to throw a lot of bodies at you. I think that can actually bother the Gales a little bit, and they can actually pull this one out. You know, Bucky's only made March Madness once as Samford's head coach, but I like this team that he's put together. Rashawn Agee's been a beast, even at 6'8", having to play center. And there's going to be some big fellas in Andrew McKeever and Moroskus for St. Mary's, but it's a very, very interesting style clash. You know, it's kind of hard to find a larger clash in styles than this one. St. Mary's wants to play very methodical. They want to play very slow. This A&M team is going to do exactly the opposite. They're going to press on every single make. They're going to press on every single made free throw. It is going to be constant traps and pressure and chaos all throughout the game. It's a very fun style. And on top of that, I mean, they're going to just, I mean, there's pressure and they are putting pressure on you at all times. They're pressing the hell out of you, and then they're gunning threes on offense and being aggressive and trying to score every time they touch the ball. It's a very interesting clash in styles. I think I've seen it go both ways for St. Mary's, but I like this A&M team enough with the depth and the shooting and the low turnover percentage. I'm gonna go A&M here. I'm gonna go A&M. It's a total clash in styles. I'd also point out that St. Mary's can make the free throws. That's pretty cool. 81%. I mean, they're the number one team in the country. Villanova under Neptune, under Jay Wright. They had some really good free throw shooting teams. I don't think it's any surprise that that's why Jay Wright had so much success in March Madness against the bottom 300 team. Could be big. Could be big. I am going to take A&M. I'm all in on Bucky McMillan. The fact that he got here, that they won the games they did, that they're down Mackenzie Mgbako, who's probably the best player if he's healthy. I'm going to take A&M. Total clash in styles. I'm probably going to kick myself. I feel like I never predict St. Mary's correctly. I never do. I will take A&M here, though.
Mm-hmm. So the first three regions we announced. How many upsets do you have?
So I have South Florida. Is a 9 over an 8 an upset? Is it just how many lower seeds do you have?
I guess you can say it.
Okay. If we're just going off picking lower seeds, the first three that we've done, I have TCU, South Florida, Iowa, VCU, A&M. 6 is Utah State. And then we'll get to our next one where I have a couple more.
Mm-hmm.
6 for now.
Off to the Midwest region. I have Michigan beating either Howard or UMBC. Georgia beating St. Louis. Texas Tech beating Akron. Alabama beating Hofstra. I have Miami, Ohio, SMU upsetting Tennessee. I have UVA beating Wright State. I have Kentucky over Santa Clara and Iowa State over Tennessee State.
I think this is where I'm going to have my couple upsets here. I'll take Michigan. I'll take St. Louis as a 9 over an 8. I still think St. Louis is a real good team here in this spot. Despite I was at the semifinal game, they lost to Dayton. That was one of the best games I've ever seen. I mean, just total fracas back and forth. It was crazy. I'll take St. Louis. I'll take a shorthanded Texas Tech here, despite no JT Top, and I do believe in Grant McCasland that much as a coach that I do think he'll win. I like Hofstra. Alex. This is a dynamic, electric guard duo. It's the best in the low and the mid-major ranks with Cruz Davis and Preston Edmeade for the Pride. 2 is absolutely electric off-ball scorers. Cruz Davis is going to get paid a lot of money by a power school sometime this year. I got an opportunity to play at Hofstra after not really playing at Iona and at St. John's. Wow. I mean, what a just tremendous lefty scorer for Speedy Claxton. And with the news today, Aiden Holloway getting arrested for Alabama, kind of hard to see if he's actually going to play. They might be down a guy here in Aiden Holloway. So with that news kind of clouding him at the moment, I'm going to take Hofstra. Line's going down in this game. Line is being bet down in this game. I think it was at 14. I think it's down to 12. Just with the guard duo that's legitimately one of the best in the low major ranks and the mid major ranks, and in turn, one of the best in the country here. I adore this team. I think Speedy Claxton's done a great job, and really, really like this team. Aiden Holloway, by the way, 43% three-point shooter. Percentage-wise, he's the best on Alabama's team and second leading scorer. Nearly 17 a game. Big deal. He gets arrested. Not sure if, not sure. I would doubt he's going to play at this point. But I saw that today. That was kind of all I needed to see. I'll be honest with you. I saw that. Said, all right, that's. I wanted to take Hofstra. That was enough to put me over the edge.
Mm-hmm. If Alabama takes care of Hofstra, how much of the deficit do you think it'll be?
I think it'll still be close. Like I certainly think that, again, do they have the size? No. Hofstra. but two excellent guards, and they can fill it up. They've won 7 in a row. They can fill it up. Their whole I love the connectors they have with German Plotnikov on this team and their big fella Silas Sunday. Like they rebound pretty well in the offensive end. They shoot the three very, very well. They're going to put up a high volume of threes against the team in Alabama. That is going to do the same. But I'm all for Hofstra here. Like I definitely think they can keep it close. And as much as Alabama doesn't turn it over, like you're going to be down one of your best guys. It's going to be handling it. And Alabama's going to gun threes, and I think Hofstra can defend it at least at admirably enough level. So I'm going to take Hofstra to win. All right, I'm going to take Hofstra to win. Defend the 2-point, defend inside well, but they'll keep it. I think they'll keep it close regardless. I think this is like a 12.5, 13-point spread. I do think they can actually keep this close.
Keeping it at the Bama Hofstra matchup, in my opinion, I think that Fadon is going to be the X factor for Bama in this game. I think that he's going to lead this team to a victory, and just the way the offensive transition Alabama has is just, I feel like it's just too much for Hofstra's defensive scheme to handle them a loss, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's tough for anybody. I mean, holy smokes, they play fast and nobody puts up as many threes, as Alabama does. They're going to get them up there. You saw last year they played BYU and they go in. I mean, it's scary. They'll put 100 on you and they'll run you out of the gym.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not a fan of Bama's play style. I just think it can be erratic, and that's an upset-prone team that has a lot of volatility. When it's relying on threes going in, we're going to put up a lot of them. We're going to put them up quick. Sometimes they're not the best, and they're very quick in the clock. And I just see like erratic teams like that with a lot of volatility. That worries me. Now you're down maybe your second best player. Don't like that. Mm-hmm. Don't like that with some bad juju with him getting arrested, with Aiden Holloway getting arrested. I don't like it. But it's still an SEC team with a guy who averages almost 20 points a game. Pretty good.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about the chances of Hofstra playing in the second weekend against a great Texas Tech team?
Yeah, I mean I don't think they would be bothered necessarily with the size because JT Toppin is in there, and there's still plenty of bodies that Tech can throw at you. Akron, I think, is interesting, but I think that much of Grant McCasland as a coach that he'll get Texas Tech and he'll get them figured out. Like I think Texas Tech is going to make the second weekend, and they're going to make the Sweet 16. They're still going to have Christian Anderson. I think he'll be good enough to go, even if he's not at 100% after avoiding an injury, or at least a bad one at that in the Big 12 tournament. But they're going to defend. They have some shooters. They have one of the best players and guards in the entire country in Christian Anderson. And I think guys like Luke Bomboye can at least fill the gaps inside. Play good enough inside that they can still go on a run. I mean, I think he's as good as a coach as anybody in the country. I'd put him up with just about anybody. Grant McCasland. They lose JT Toppin, and sure, it's like, oh, did people have film on him? Yada yada. They still went to Iowa State and won a game. Lit him up from three. Lit up a really good defense from three in a really hard place to play. Like, if Hofstra wins a game, I think they can get Alabama. I don't think they can get both Alabama and Texas Tech. I think that highly of Grant McCasland, no matter who's playing for him.
So moving on to the round of 32. For the East region, I have Duke beating Ohio State, St. John's upsetting Kansas, Michigan State beating Louisville, UConn beating UCLA.
Yeah, I think UCLA is going to be a tough one if they get there. If they're healthy and Donovan Dent and Tyler Bilodeau are good to play with no limitations and their injuries don't affect them, I think they're live in that game. But I'm right with you. I'm going to take Duke. I'll take St. John's. I'll take I will take Michigan State to end South Florida's reign here, but I still think we're getting one upset there is big time. And I'll take Connecticut. And as a spoiler, alert, I'll give you one more ready. I think St. John's going to upset Duke with the injuries that Duke has and the size of St. John's front line with the veteran presence that they have on that front line and just the sheer size they can play with. That you might have Caden Boozer having to step in as a starting point guard here without Caleb Foster, and then have to go up against those guys who won 19-20 with all that size. I'm going to take St. John's to go to the Final Four, Alex. I think this is the year.
Oh, wow.
Scary defense.
Mm-hmm.
Won 19 of 20. 19 of 20, putting it on Connecticut good twice.
You're definitely going to get me thinking after this episode.
And potentially even ready for this. How about UConn St. John's round 4?
Yeah.
Round 4. Could happen.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be all-time stuff. It'd be like a once in a 25 years game or something like that. That magnitude, those teams. So yeah, they're going to be in my Final Four. I think they're that good. Seriously, they're incredible. They're incredible. The defense, the coaching, obviously elite. And again, I mean, Zuby, not just one of the best big men, one of the best players in the entire country. He's a beast.
Yeah, I think Zuby Ejiofor is a great asset to this Johnny's team. I just think that they have the talent to get all the way through Duke. But as of now, I have Duke in my unofficial bracket, but things might change. Things might change in the next couple of hours. So I would like you and all the viewers know what I do with my finalized bracket. So let's move on to the round of 32 for the West region. I have Arizona beating Villanova, Arkansas beating High Point, Gonzaga beating BYU, and Purdue beating Miami.
Yeah, I'm going to roll Purdue. I hate God. I'm taking top 4 seeds. It's getting chalky here. Arizona, Arkansas, Gonzaga, Purdue. All the top 4. Make for some good basketball when it happens, though.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona, Purdue collision.
Do you think that High Point has Do you think High Point has that much of talent potentially on the potential upset?
No, I'm not. Even if you have High Point moving on, I think, if you beat Wisconsin, that would be great. And then to have to play a giant, wiry, long team in Arkansas would, I think, spell trouble for them quite fast. I'll be honest with you. Just think of what they did last year to St. John's.
Yeah.
Running into an SEC team that is like, whoa, these guys got some athletes and all the length they have. A guy in Darius Acuff who is just, absolutely spectacular for a freshman. His ability to create tough shots, come through in the clutch. Still got guys like Trevon Brazile there. I think Billy Richmond is awesome. I hope he stays in school again and stays for another year. Really like this team. The size they have with Malik Ewan and Nick Pringle. They got some big guys on this team. They got some size. I think they would put it to High Point pretty good if that was a matchup.
Yeah, it should be interesting to watch those round of 32 games. So moving to the Midwest. Actually, let's do the South region.
Okay.
So I have Florida beating Iowa, McNeese beating Troy, Illinois beating VCU, and Houston beating Texas A&M.
Yeah, I'm going Florida, Vanderbilt, Illinois, and Houston. And that is going to set up for us, Alex, a Florida and Houston national title game rematch from last year.
Mm-hmm.
and I got to figure out who I'm going to take because I
Yep.
gave out Florida on the radio yesterday. Oh, we'll come back to that one. But I will have that. I'll say that we're going to go in the East, St. John's, Connecticut. It's going to be an all Big East final, round 4, for a chance to go to the Final Four. And in the South region, we'll have a national championship. I think I think basketball fans everywhere would benefit from having that. I mean, a Florida Houston championship game rematch would be tremendous television. Wrestling with who I think could win that one, I think I'm inclined to take Florida, but man, that'd be something of what a great game that was last year. Sure, there's some different phases now, but man, what a game that was last year.
So heading to the Midwest region, I have Michigan beating Georgia. Now thinking about it with the situation of Alabama, as of now, I have Alabama beating Texas Tech, but I kind of feel like Texas Tech can bring the dark horse in them and beat Alabama. So I'll have to see in the coming hours to see what I pick. But as of now, I have Alabama beating Texas Tech.
All right, that's where we're going to disagree because I got Tech beating Hofstra. But go ahead.
I have Virginia beating Miami, Ohio, SMU, and Iowa State beating Kentucky.
I have Iowa State going to beat Santa Clara. I have Virginia beating Tennessee, and then we'll go Michigan, Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech will get that far, and then that's a front line in Michigan they won't be able to deal with without JT Toppin. I'll take Michigan to go to the Elite Eight out of that group.
So to the round of the Sweet 16, let's begin in the East region. I have Duke over St. John's. Michigan State losing to UConn. And sorry.
You're good. Take your time.
Okay.
St. John's, UConn for me. Go ahead.
Okay.
You were going to say Florida and who?
I was going to say I pick Florida to beat McNeese and Houston to beat Illinois.
Love it. All right, well, we got the same chant. We got the same two guys here in the South. East, I'm going to take St. John's over Connecticut in an absolute barn burner down in Washington, D.C. And St. John's is headed to the Final Four for the first time in a very long time. Really long time. What a game that would be. I'm telling you, criminally underseeded as a 5. Big East regular season championship winner. Way, way better than a 5 seed, in my opinion. Florida, Houston. How about this though? Give me Florida, Houston then. Let me hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I feel like Houston is a really intriguing team this year with this Louisiana and a lot of others, but I feel like that this Houston team can carry the light in them with getting to the Final Four. It's just a matter of their skill level against elite teams like Illinois, and I'm curious to see how they do once they get to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, Illinois would be a really, really tough matchup, and they will be for anybody just with the sheer size that Illinois has. So much playmaking. It's the
Mhm.
biggest team in the country. There's no team that's bigger. That's the biggest team in the country in Illinois. And you look at that front line. It's like Tugler is
That
incredible. Freshman and Cenac. I'm just saying. I think that's a front
yeah.
line that could give you some issues here. So I'm wrestling with Illinois and Houston. Excuse me.
Hmm.
But just given that, I think they'll figure it out, and I think Houston will do enough to
Hmm.
bother an Illinois team that's had a couple hiccups. I'm gonna roll with Houston to move on. They really don't have a bad loss all year.
Hmm.
I mean, there's a team that they lost 3 straight
S-
games at Iowa State, home against Arizona, at Kansas. Like they surely didn't forget how to play.
yeah.
I'm telling you that.
So next up, we move to the Elite Eight. I have. Let's start with the East region. I have Duke beating UConn and Florida losing to Houston.
I'm gonna roll Florida here, and I'm gonna roll St. John's. It's what my
Mhm.
final four on the left side is gonna be.
Uh, so my final four on the left side is Duke and Houston.
All right, St. John's and Florida will agree to disagree.
Hmm. So for the Elite Eight on the West region, I have Arizona beating Arkansas, Purdue beating Gonzaga, and Michigan beating Alabama, and Iowa State upsetting Michigan.
Okay, I'm gonna take West region. Man, this is tough. I don't know if there's a guard in the tournament you'd rather have than Braden Smith, but Arizona's been my pick all year.
Mm-hmm.
God, what comes down to matchups? Oh boy. I'm with you. I want to take Virginia. I really do. But that's
Mm-hmm.
not a slight to Ryan Odom. I think that Ryan Odom is going to win a championship there. Hard to do it first year at some place, but Virginia's an excellent spot. He could be there for however long he wants. This isn't the year. I think he will get one. I'll take Iowa State to upset Michigan. If you're going to give the ball away against the Cyclones, they're going to make you pay. And they played Arizona right down to the wire in the Big 12 championship game. Such an unfortunate ending for the Cyclones to have that. But, they beat the crap out of Arizona State twice, beat Texas Tech, and they lose at the buzzer to Arizona. I
Mm-hmm.
think this is the year. I think this is going to have to be the year for the Cyclones. I think this is going to have to be the year. One of the best teams in the country at
Mm-hmm.
turning you over. Shoot the three very well. And if you talk about Braden Smith, you got to throw Taman Lipsey up there in that point guard discussion as well. As there's not really anybody I'd rather have than that guy. So I'm going to say this is the year for the Cyclones. They're finally going to break through to the Final Four.
I think this conversation with Iowa State is just like St. John's that you said earlier. I feel like it's either uh, now or never with them making it to the Final Four, and I feel like that Iowa State is in it to win it, and they'll definitely make noise and reach to the Final Four this year.
Yeah, I think this is going to have to be the year for him. I think this is an absolutely tremendous team he's got. He's had some really good ones. This
Mm-hmm.
team is really good. This
I
team
think
is
I think
really,
that
really good.
I think the matchup against Michigan is really going to be potentially intriguing with the Iowa State talent and giving them a hard time. defensively. I'm curious to see how the defensive playmaking is against a potential matchup in Michigan, but we'll see once we get to that day. Um, for the other side of the Final Four, for me, I have Arizona and Iowa State.
I do as well. I have Arizona and Iowa State. Hard to beat a team 3 times. Tell you what, though, Alex, I think this is.
Mm-hmm.
Think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. Let me get us to the finish line here on my bracket. I said this on the radio yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm wrestling with it. I'm really I think Florida's going to go back to back. I think Florida's going to go back to back. It's tough. Florida and Arizona. You can't go wrong. Both these teams are spectacular. The season when it started on November the 3rd, it started with Florida and Arizona. It will end with Florida and Arizona. And Arizona won that first game. But as Florida's gotten connected and their guards and Boogie Fland and Xavier Lee have figured things out, I'm going to roll with Florida. I'm going to roll with Florida to go back to back. I think Todd Golden is that good. They retained enough bigs to at least give them a floor where I believe their guards will give them enough, have shown that they can give them enough, and you know that they're going to rebound, defend the twos, and rebound and block shots. I think Florida goes back to back. I think Todd Golden's that good.
Yeah, that's interesting from you picking Florida going back to back. Let's reveal our national championship. So I have Duke and Arizona, and I have Duke beating the national championship champs.
Well, me and you can be good friends because I'm a big Duke fan, so I love to hear that. I just think the vets or the Johnnies are going to get after them, and I'm going to go. We'll do a couple chomps here. Ready? Florida goes back to back. Florida over Arizona. Barn burner game. I think those are the two, best teams right now. So good. Both teams so good. But I'll roll with Florida to go back to back. We'll see.
Once time arrives tomorrow, I'll definitely have my finalized bracket, and I'll text you as soon as possible to let you know what it is, and I'll definitely tweet it out, and you can retweet it if you want, and we'll see what happens with it once the tournament gets underway.
Yeah. No, let's do it. I'm going to sleep on it, too. I really didn't sleep at all last night. So if I can get any today, I'll try and sleep on it and figure something out here. But yeah, I think I slept 2 hours last night, Alex. So I'm gonna need to actually I'm gonna need to sleep on it and not nap on it. And then I'll see if I come back with the
same.
Yeah. Hard to get sleep this time of year. Got back from Pittsburgh at 2:30. Tough out here.
Speaking of sleep, I didn't even start to sleep until like close to 2:20 or so last night, and somehow woke up at 7:40 a.m.
Good for you. Go to sleep with the boys. You got to wake up with the men. Good stuff. You're so excited. You don't want to go to bed. You're amped up, man. You're thinking about this stuff. We'll sleep eventually.
Yeah, this week is. Yeah, this week, especially the next 48 hours, getting hyped up for the first round to begin Thursday and Friday is going to be really hectic with everyone on Twitter comparing brackets and spaces, and I'm just hoping that you and I do well with our brackets, and I know this wasn't your unofficial bracket, but I wish you nothing but the best of luck with it.
No, you do the same. It's like it's almost a curse. It's like you watch so much, you second guess everything. But let's just have some fun. Have a take.
Yeah.
You have a bunch of upsets. That's awesome. Don't pick all chalk. It's never going to be like that. Have some fun. Maybe I won't pick them in my brackets, but I'll be rooting for the madness. I'll be rooting for High Point and McNeese for you. I hope they come through. But yeah, let's root for some madness. Don't have to worry. So 1 in 7 bajillion chance you'll get them all right. And if you do, you'll never work again because Warren Buffett will give you $1 billion. But probably not going to happen. Let's just have some fun.
Yeah.
Just hope I really get that Ohio State TCU game right first. I always get mad when I get the first game wrong.
Yeah.
The best
I
of luck to you.
don't know if you I don't know if you got the chance to hop on John Fanta's Spaces last night.
I did not. I was in the car from like 9:15 to 2:30 coming back from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I was calling friends to stay awake.
I think his Spaces went until like 10:35.
Oh, that's light work. It's light work.
Yeah.
I wish you would have went longer,
Yeah.
man. I would have popped it on. I was only an hour into my drive. So
I think he started it. I think he started the Spaces around 8:15 or something.
Okay. Oof. Long day.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to call in. It's guy in high demand.
Yeah. There was some really interesting callers with great profile pictures.
Oh man, there's his Big East Spaces are a zoo. I mean, you have all types of burners and trolls calling in.
The amount of burner accounts on his Spaces is through the wall.
Yeah, it's off the charts. Some of those guys call in, and you're lucky he went that long. Usually, when Dr. Cheap Shot McGee or somebody calls in, he just cuts it short.
Yeah. I don't want to keep you on longer, but I know you got busy stuff to do. But thank you for taking the time out of your busy night to hop on to talk about the bracket and everything else. And it's always great to chop it up with you. And hopefully, we'll do another one sometime soon.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you for thinking of me. Thank you for having me on again, Alex. Pleasure doing it with you. Pleasure talking hoops. Time flies when we're having fun. We're breaking down the bracket. So yeah, we'll have to do that soon. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe I'll see you Sunday. Maybe I'll see you Sunday for 2 packed games down at Philly.
Well, what side of the stadium will you be at?
I don't know how they do seating at the tournament. I'll be covering the games though. I'll be covering me and my co-host Kyle, as well as a large contingent of people in Philadelphia will be down there covering it. So yeah, I don't know where they're going to put me, but I'll be behind the basket or on one of the sidelines. They might put me up top. I don't know. I'm just going to show up. They're going to tell me where to sit. I'm at March Madness. I don't care where they put me. So
yeah, I'll definitely have to text you a picture of what my seats are.
Yeah, no, definitely let me know. It's going to be a really fun 2 days of hoops. Never covered March Madness before, only been to it once, so of course looking forward to it. Look forward to it.
Yeah, it was a great time with you tonight, and best of luck with your coverage throughout the tournament. And I'll definitely have you back on later down the road throughout the tournament.
Yeah, let's do it. Good luck to you and your coverage as well. Thanks again, Alex.
Yep, thank you. Have a good night.
You do the same. Thanks.
Thanks.